How's everybody doing? I'm going to take my shoes off. Is that okay? If it stinks, let me. I know. This is not my house. How many of you are ready for today? Boo! I just booed you. That's boo. Do it again. How many of you are ready for today? Come on! Come on. Let me tell you something. You right here. You right there. Stand up. Yeah, stand up. God has got something for you today. He's going to do something. He's got a promise to fulfill in you. Let me pick somebody else out right here. You right there, right there, right there. God's got something for you today. He's going to fulfill a promise in you. I want you to understand what I'm talking about, okay? I want you to get the concept that God's got faith in you. He's got faith in you to pull through when he's asking you to pull through. There's a lot of things that happen at these events. I love doing these. They're my favorite thing. But a lot of times we walk out and we get a little confused with things. And I don't want you guys to walk out and be confused today. All right? So what my goal to do today is for you, I got to prepare you for later on. See, this was just a sample of what you're going to get today. The worship was just a sample. Because I promise you, all of you in here, God is going to break you down. See, I love being broken down by God. Boom! I love it. Because he begins to change things about you. He begins to rewrite the internal code on your heart. All right? He reprograms you from the core. And you begin to operate differently. All right? I can't operate all the time the way my flesh wants to. And that's why we're here today, is because, frankly, my flesh is crying out. Boo, I wanna date that girl. But I'm married. I can't do that. My wife might hurt me. So what I want to do is I want to prepare you for today. And I've had a long couple of weeks, so if I forget something, I apologize. There's a couple of things, a couple of myths that happen that I want to wipe off the blackboard. I want to scrape that down and rewrite some of your internal code. And one of those myths, one of the things that kind of boils up in these events is you hear a lot of, don't have sex! Don't have sex! All right? I'm not here to choke that down your throat. Okay? Don't get me wrong. Don't have sex. Okay? But a lot of times what happens when you hear that over and over and over again, at this level, you then walk out those doors and you're like, don't have sex, don't have sex, don't have sex. Here comes Sally. Hey, how are you? Oh, don't have sex! All right? It's bad for guys. It's bad for girls. Here's the thing. I want you to build relationships. I want you to know how to build relationships. All right? You can't function in the body without being able to build relationships. All right? So right now, if you begin to fail at building relationships because fear is in you, fear of your flesh, if it's in you, you can't build that relationship with Tommy here. This is my friend Tommy. He's a nice guy. How's it going, Tommy? Yeah, I know, it's a tough day. Steven's kind of spit all over you. So Tommy here, if I'm a girl. Hey, Tommy. Tommy may run. Oh. We don't want to knock Tommy over. He's got to do more stuff today. I don't want Tommy to run. I want Tommy to stand there. Look at how sturdy he is. I can lean on him a little bit because he's strong. He's strong in what he knows, and he's strong in what he does. See, I want you to be standing there strong. I know what I'm doing. I'm there. See, there's no time to go back and forth. You got to know. You got to stand strong. I want you to build relationships. I want you to date. All right? I'm really dry-mouthed. All right. That's better. Tasty water. Okay. So, the first myth is I don't want you walking out those doors, and I don't want you thinking that we don't want you interacting with with the girls. You right here, little guy. I want you to interact with girls. I want you to say, hey, how you doing? I know you. I'm not saying we got to go out or anything. I'm just saying I know you. Hey, we can talk one day. Maybe I can tell you about Jesus. You never know. A couple years down the road, bing, da, 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 you're going to be walking down the aisle here. I don't know. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying. I'm just saying, but I'm not saying. 60% of the time, it works every time. I'm just playing. I don't want you to run scared, okay? That's what I'm saying. I don't want you to run scared, number one. Number two, a lot of times you walk out of here, you get this misconcepted thought about marriage. I love marriage. And a lot of you girls have marriage on the brain. I want to get married. I can't wait till I get married. Oh, you are in for a surprise. Who's married in here? It's all along the back rows, too. So, how big of a surprise is it, huh? I want to get rid of one thing first, and this is something that we just talked about recently, me and my friends, that I want you to be aware that your struggles that you have now, they're not going to go away when you get married. Oh, I just changed somebody's paradigm. I heard it click. Oh, no. Okay? It's not going to go away. You got a whole nother set of problems. Okay? But what I do want to say is that what's important for you to know is, well, frankly, that I forgot where I was going. What was I talking about? I was talking about marriage, right? This is my wife. She's pretty. Oh, yeah, when you walk out. So a lot of times, you hear it more from girls than you do from guys, I think. A lot of times you hear, I know God has set this guy to the side for me. This is the guy that I have to marry. If I don't marry him, then my marriage isn't going to be successful. Or I'm never going to get married if I don't marry him. And I want to say, no. No. Okay, guys? Okay, some of you don't believe me. So let's move to 1 Corinthians, I think it's 29. 7. 1 Corinthians 7, that's right. Paul says, and when Paul says, I say, or I would think, or something like that, it really means do it, okay? So Paul says, I would have it that none of you would get married. I'm going somewhere here, so don't get scared. He said, I would have it that none of you would get married. I would rather see you step into the ministry full time and blow through that like a flame. I don't need to get married. Right? He says, well, watch out, because some of you are not that smart or strong, so you're going to struggle. And because you're struggling, go ahead and get married, because it's better for you to get married than to burn up in your flesh. All right? Now, that's kind of obvious. He's saying, hey, I would like to see you not get married, so I'm not going to make any provision for it. But if you're going to get married, I'm going to lay it on you to do it. So in my head, what I see is I see Paul saying, I'm laying this on your shoulders. You have a choice. You either don't get married or you do get married. But I'm not making provision for it. I'm not setting it aside, okay? And you still don't believe me, I can tell. So let's go to Genesis 29. Jacob's adventure. This is the cool thing. This is what today's really about. So Jacob's in his house. He's playing Call of Duty Warfare, Modern Warfare 2. And his dad comes in. Get up! Get out of my house. You're eating all my Cheetos. So he kicks him out. He doesn't really kick him out of the house. He actually does a lot better than that. He blesses him, and he sends him on his way. He says, it's time for you to get a wife. Wait. What? He said, find a wife. Everybody say that? Find a wife. Okay. He doesn't say I've set one over here for you. So that kind of debunks your whole theory. But anyway, on to the more important thing. Jacob gets up and he leaves. That's the first part. There's 3 parts to this. I'm going to skip the middle part. Second part is, we don't even know how many years later. It could have been 2 years, could have been 20 years. All it says, in a far east land, far east, he finally finds the woman that he's going to marry. So he strolls up. There's some hot Asian lady there. And he says, man, you are hot. We're going to get married. So he gets married. And God begins to do things in him and bless him. But that's all because of the marriage. The most important part is the third part, the middle part. I left it out on purpose. Because this is what today is about. When Jacob left his house, he goes out on the road. All right? While he's out, what is he doing? He's looking for a wife. He's looking, he's searching, he's dating. Guys, he's meeting women. Hey, what's your name? Oh, you don't like me? Okay. Hey, what's your name? Oh, you're a dude. He's going out, he's doing, he's got it going. He's a class act, he's a player. But here's the important thing. Jacob's out and he's walking one day. He says, man, I'm tired, I'm going to lay down, I'm going to go to sleep. Here comes God. God lands right down on top of him. Jacob, wake up. And he says, I have a promise to fulfill in you. I'm going to do things in you that you never even dreamed of. And all during that adventure. See, I want to dispel the myth that we can't date, that we can't be with God while we're building relationships. Because during the middle of Jacob's dating scene, when he's out clubbing, maybe not clubbing, God plants something on top of Jacob and says, I'm going to make you something you never even dreamed. And during his adventure, guys, during his adventure is when God met him. So you're out there. So today, we're talking about that battle, that adventure. Jacob's out there battling. Oh, you're hot, but, I can't. Because Jacob's got some rules that he goes by. And what I want to do is I want to hit you with these 2 rules. It's actually 3 rules. 2 of them are rules. 1 of them is not a rule. So it's not 3 rules. It's 2 rules and a statement. Okay? Number 1 rule that Jacob has. Jacob has a vision. Everybody say it. Exactly. Do it again, just like I did it. Vision. All right? He's got a vision. All right? Chris Volatin puts it this way. You guys heard Eugene up here talking about sexual revolution. Chris Volatin puts it this way. He says, vision gives pain purpose. Does that make sense? No, it doesn't make sense. So let me expound on it. He says, vision causes you to restrict your options so that you can reach your vision. Okay? So boom, I'm single guy in my apartment. I'm driving a Honda Accord. I don't want a Honda Accord. I want an Acura NSX. Always have, always will. But I also want to get married. And all of a sudden I get this vision of my marriage night, of my marriage day, of my marriage life. Ooh. So what begins to happen is I begin not to spend money on the car or maybe even dating other women. I begin to restrict my options to reach my vision. All right? And Chris Volatin ties it up in this way. He wants you, he likes to say in the book, and I really want to push that book on you guys. But today, I want you to understand that you got to get a vision for your wedding night. You got to get a vision for your wedding night. Because until you have a vision for your wedding night, you will not restrict the other options that come along the line. Okay? That's the first part. All right? You got to take the second part that I'm going to give you, and you got to concatenate it onto the end of it. Okay? The next part is value. Value. You got to understand what value you hold in your hand. Everybody hold your hand up. Everybody, come on. Everybody. I see you. Okay. Let's think in a minute and put some imagination in our brains. Imagination. Imagine your virginity in your hand. Okay? Let's put that in there. Let's put your virginity in there. For engaged people, this is going to hit home a little harder than for others. All right? That hand is now full of a specific amount of value. Okay? Now let's ask yourself, how many other people in the world have had a piece of that value? So when on your wedding night, you've got the vision for your wedding night, for your honeymoon night. You need to know how much value you're getting ready to give out. Boom. Let that hit you for a minute. You can put your hand down now. I know you're getting tired. I want you to understand the value that I'm talking about. All right? And I don't really have any other way to explain it to you, but by telling you that every time you lose a little bit of that value, maybe you're giving away, maybe I'm giving away my love for my wife, I'm giving it to other things. Because maybe I don't have a good enough understanding of the value my love holds on her life. So I give it away a little bit and a little bit at a time. All of a sudden my love then becomes worthless. That's a hard word. That's a real hard word. Now, granted, I'm taking the power of God out of this equation right now. We'll bring him back in a minute. I'm just talking about value that you have on your own. Whatever power you have on your own, which is very little, until God comes in and replenishes it. I'm talking about that value. Okay? Do we all get the concept of the value that we hold? Does everybody get this? I don't expect you to raise your hands and ask me questions. I wouldn't answer them anyway. All right? So today, what I want you to do today, see, this is just, like I said, this is just preliminary. I'm just getting you started. Today, you've got to get a vision. You've got to get a vision. No vision, no value, understanding of value, you're going to walk out the door today and you're not going to get a hold of what God's got for you. Okay? You want to see something new in your life. You want to see something change in your life. Vision and value have got to be there for this subject, abstinence. You got to have a vision of yourself without pornography. I said the porn word. You got to have a vision of yourself without sex. I said the sex word. You got to have a vision of your life. This one's going to hurt. Without masturbation. Ooh. I'm going to put it to you this way, guys. If it makes you feel uncomfortable, then why are you doing it? Because I can feel the tension rise as I say it. If you can't hear it, then don't do it. If it, come on. You're going to get embarrassed just because I say it. So vision and value. I want you to walk with those two things today as we go in later today. But the very last thing that I want to tell you about is going to be the hardest hurdle for you to overcome. And that's the simple act of letting go. Everybody put that hand up again. Same hand you did a while ago. Close it. Okay. You just trapped in whatever value you had left. And let's say it may not be very much at all. How are you going to get that value changed? How are you going to rearrange your vision? How are you going to reassess your value until you let that go? See, God can't take a hold of what you're holding on to. He says, I'll take it. But you got to give it to me. You got to let it go. You put your hands down. So I want you to understand vision. I want you to understand value. But I want you to understand most of all that if you're going to see something happen, if you're going to see the promise of God fulfilled in your life, you've got to be ready